Good morning, students. How are you? I'm going to be sending you a video file of Chapter 6, Manufacturing Process. So, this is basically the lecture that I want to do in class, and I'm going to be doing this in an online format. So go through this once, maybe twice, whatever you want to need to. If you have problems with understanding, go through it twice. And basically, I'm going to give you the all the information that I'm going to do in class by using this video. So the first thing that I would like to do is to talk about what the objectives are. So we're going to be talking about what a manufacturing process is and what is process mapping, and then we're going to define a Little's law. This is a simple equation that we want to go through. And then we're going to talk about what manufacturing processes are there and how you organize these manufacturing processes. And finally, I would like to design and analyze an assembly line. So basically, an assembly line, which is a very simple assembly line, okay? And that's what we're planning to do in this in these three modules that I have. This is the first of the three modules. Let's talk about production process. So production process basically is, first thing is sourcing. Sourcing is buying. So companies buy raw materials so that they can start making the products or assembling the products. And then once they finish assembling or making the products, they can deliver it to the customers. So that is basically the production process. So sourcing, making, and delivering. Now, there are different types of firms who make these processes, and we're going to talk about them in this module. Okay? Before we do all that, let's define some things. First thing is what is called a lead time. A lead time is the time needed to respond to a customer order. So let's say you go to a store to buy a six-pack beer. Okay, so if you want to buy some beer, 6 packs of beer. So basically, you go to a store, and from the time you enter the store, you browse what you want, and then you go to the clerk taking that beer with you, and then you tell the clerk that you're buying the 6 pack, and then you're paying the money, and then the customer packs it up in a bag or whatever it is, and then gives it to you, and then you take it, get out of the store. But till that time, that whole time is the lead time. So it might take 10 minutes, it might take 50 minutes, it might take maybe a couple of hours because you're driving to Chicago, somewhere in Chicago to buy it. Whatever that is a lead time. Okay, so if you want to have a party at 6 o'clock, and if it's going to have 2 hours of lead time, you need to start at 4 so that you can buy it. It's the same thing companies do. I mean, they don't buy 6 packs of beer, but what they do is if they want to manufacture something and they want to send it to the customer like 10 days from now, they will say that, oh, they need 6 days to manufacture this, they need 4 days to buy this. So prior to that 10th day, I'm going to go and buy this, right? I'm going to place the order. And that is a lead time. Okay. The second time is the customer order decoupling point. The customer order decoupling point basically is where the responsibility of the company starts. Where the responsibility of the company starts to make the order. That means they have to see, as I said, the lead time. You need to know how long it is going to take to get the raw materials, and how long it is going to produce, and how long it is going to deliver the products to the customers. You need to take all those things, right, for the lead time, right? Same thing, CODP, or the customer or decoupling point. That is the point at which you decide, hey, I'm going to start right now. Okay, I'm going to start making this product. I'm going to buy this product. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this and assemble this product. Or this is where I'm going to go and buy the raw materials. All those things. That is the customer or decoupling point. It depends on the type of company. Okay, so basically some companies will start very early, some companies can start late, and those kind of things. Lean manufacturing, we're going to be talking about it later in maybe the 10th class or something like that. But basically, lean manufacturing is achieving the best inventory, the minimal inventory, or the optimal inventory for your company. So if you are looking for X number of products to be made, you're going to buy those things, to make that product, right? And when you order them also is important. You don't want to order them much in advance, because you're going to tie up that money into those materials, and you don't want to do that. You would rather have the inventory when you need it, right? And that is what is lean manufacturing. And we'll be talking about wastages and things like that in lean manufacturing later on. Now, the types of firms that we talked about earlier, there are 4 types. One is make to stock, another one is assemble to order, the third one is make to order, and the final one is engineer to order. Let's talk about these things. Make to stock basically is, if you go to Walmart or Sears or any store that you're going to buy, Jewel Costco or anything, the products that you see before you, televisions, clothing, food products, all these things are made somewhere else, and they are shelved in this store for you to buy, right? So the companies who are making these are make to stock people. So they make the products, they deliver it to the store so that you can go and buy it, so that the stores can stock them so you can buy them, right? And that is basically make to stock. The second type of companies is assemble to order. For instance, Dell is a classic example. Dell Computers. So if you want to buy a computer through Dell, you go to Dell.com and you specify, this is what I want, this is the RAM you want, this is the ROM you want, this is the number of ports I want, and all that stuff. This is a type of monitor that I want, all that stuff, right? So you specify that, and then Dell goes, looks at your specification, and then they assemble everything. They don't make products, basically. They don't make chips, they don't make monitors. They buy it from somewhere else and they assemble it together. So that, and then they will assemble it, package it, and then send it to you. That is assemble to order. The third type, make to order, and the fourth type, engineer to order, pretty much the same. Let's take a classic example of United Airlines wanting X number of planes. Let's say they want 10 planes. So they go to Boeing and say, I want 10 planes. And Boeing says, hey, what specifications you have? So United Airlines give them all the engineering specs for the planes. Okay, so Boeing takes those specs, the engineering specs, and then makes these planes to United Airlines order. So that is engineered to order. Or they simply have certain planes and United will say, hey, I want that plane. And then we'll say, okay, we'll make it to order. We'll put the logo and all that stuff and send it to you, right? And that is make to order. So these are the third and the fourth types of firms. In any case, production process, this is the map of production process, okay? So the map of production process includes first sourcing. These are raw materials from suppliers. Then you have inbound logistics, which is goods that are coming from the suppliers to your company. And this is where you store the raw materials. You pull the raw materials to make the products or assemble the products, and then you make them as finished goods. Once you make them as finished goods, then you send it in transit to be delivered, to deliver it to the customers. And basically, it is given to the customers or sent to the customers or delivered to the customers or delivered to the stores wherever you want to. This is the production process mapping. I want to talk about Little's Law. Little's Law basically is a simple equation. It tells you how much inventory you need. Okay, how much inventory you need. The inventory that you need in your company depends on throughput rate and flow time. Okay, so let's say you want to make a computer in your firm. So one computer. So from the time you go and pull the raw materials and then you start assembling it, and then make the computer, and then you package them and to be ready for delivery. That is the flow time. So the time for a single unit, let's say it takes 1 hour. Okay, so let's say it takes 1 hour. Okay, now throughput basically is, in a particular day, how many computers you can make. Suppose I have 4 people and I have 10 hours. Okay, then let's say I make 40 computers, and this is 40 computers. The throughput basically is 40 computers per day. So you made 40 computers per day. So one day you might make 39, next day you might make 41, but the average is 40. Okay, so the throughput for your company for making computers is 40 computers per day. Okay, that is the throughput. So that's how you calculate the throughput and flow time. Okay. The inventory measures, there are 3 different types of inventory measures. The first one is, we all know from our accounting books, we'll see what is the value of inventory. So the value of inventory depends on how much you have as raw material, how much you have in progress or work in process, and then how much you have as finished goods. The inventory of all these 3 types of inventory, the total value of these 3 types of inventory, if you take the average value of that, that gives you the average value of inventory. Okay, and this is used in financial statements and accounting systems and things like that. Inventory turn, on the other hand, is the cost of goods sold divided by the inventory value. Okay, so how much you're selling, how much all these inventory that you're selling, the finished goods that you're selling, over the inventory value, that gives you the inventory turn. This basically tells you the performance, the evaluation of the performance of the process. That is the manufacturing process, the production process. Basically, it tells you with so much inventory, how much you're making money. That's basically what you're looking at, the inventory turn. The third part of it is the days of supply, which is basically the inverse of the inventory turns, scale to days. And we'll look at some things later on to see how it can be calculated. Okay, so that is our first module. So please go through the book, go through all the things that we have talked about, and then let's go to the module 2.